Welcome to The Trouble with Life Is. This is Hayes.
And this is AK. The trouble with life is the holidays don't pause what you're carrying.
This episode is coming to you during a season that tends to hold a lot. And I mean a lot. Like memories, expectations, joy, grief. A lot of grief and change. And a lot of change. For me, anyway.
And today we're talking about how the holidays don't simplify things. They often hold everything all at once.
And we just want to let you know up front, this isn't about fixing the holidays. It's about giving you our experiences about so much has changed in the last several years for both of us, apart and together.
And it's also about naming what has come up for us and what could come up for other people without judgment. And sometimes it starts with noticing what shows up first.
For me, the holidays tend to surface grief in a really specific way. Like, not always dramatic, it's quieter. It shows up in memories and traditions that used to be there, in moments when something feels missing, even when nothing is textually wrong. For me, the holidays have a way of reminding me of who isn't here, what changed, and what I've had to let go of, and even when life is moving forward.
Yeah, it's hard because you can be grateful and still be grieving, present and also still missing someone, surrounded and still feel lonely. Sometimes it's not about the holidays themselves, it's who we are now experiencing them, different from maybe who we were before. The season stays the same, but we don't, and the difference can feel heavier than we expect.
A lot heavier.
Hmm.
As the years go on, it's the grief doesn't get better, but you have to just continue to live.
Hmm.
And when your initial world doesn't match what the season is supposed to look like, it can quietly make you feel like you're doing something wrong. Have you ever had holidays where everything around you said, this should feel different, but inside it just didn't? I can tell you I have. What about you?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I feel like that's how I spent a lot of my holidays is, smiling on the outside, feeling happy. And I was happy sometimes. Like, there were definitely things that brought me joy about the holidays, but then there was just this, like, internal feeling of, like, unhappy, like being unhappy and just, like, feel,
Mine was because of my mother.
yeah.
Like I didn't like holidays anyway.
Hmm.
We struggled as a child in my childhood. My mom worked the best she could, but then when she
Hmm.
died, like we watched it. It was like horrible. And you know, her thing was Christmas, so now I try to make like the little things mine. And,
Hmm. Yeah. And I know that grief kind of is still heavy for you every single year.
oh yeah,
Hmm.
and it don't get easier. It lies.
Yeah.
But I tend to, I stick it out for my kids, my grandson, Josh. Um, I don't ever want them to think that they're not important for this holiday because of something that I'm dealing with on the inside.
Mm. Yeah, I think that's actually where I was a lot of years is like, I show up for everyone else. Meanwhile, what I was feeling, it really didn't matter.
Yeah. Oh, I show up. That's the Scorpio in
Mhm.
me. I can't show
Me
anybody
too.
my feelings. But I also my kids are dumb. You know what I'm saying? Like I definitely don't want to let my bah humbug rub off on them. So, fake it till I make it.
Oh, fake that in itself. Fake it till you make it. That's how I lived.
Yeah, well, that's me. And the people that I was with previous, they knew it and they tried to do the same thing and get me through it. But they say you gotta do it yourself. I'm starting to, but it's slowly. And it's sad because the people that were in my life, spent all that time trying and I didn't care enough.
Well, sometimes it's not always about not caring too. It's like it's also like you have to be ready, you have to be in the right space, and you don't always have control over that to
Yeah,
a
and I
certain
didn't.
extent.
I didn't. And I also didn't want to.
Right.
I felt like my world ended when my mother died. Christmas cookies. I just ate a chocolate chip cookie for the first time yesterday. I've had them, but it wasn't like the way it tasted. It reminded me of her.
Yeah.
It's weird. But that's sitting out here and there. When it comes to Christmas, I try to, you
Yeah.
know,
And then he started coughing and dying from
yeah,
that chocolate chip cookie.
yeah.
It was like a sign. Reet was like, "Hey, girl, I see you eat my cookie."
44 years old died from a chocolate chip cookie because
No,
I'm lactose intolerant.
I need you a lot longer than that. I need you
I,
a lot longer.
I hear.
Yeah. Well, my goal is really to try and not focus on that, you know, time of feeling different and trying to really show up. So I think it's important to talk about some changes that might not always be about loss, too. Like sometimes change can be good.
I mean, this year is different for us. It's our holiday season, our first holiday season in our new home.
Yeah.
That we got together. Like I said, we've only been here since August, and we got 85% stuff put up, so we have a little ways to go. But hopefully next year we'll have a better understanding of what to do for like decorating and stuff like that because we kind of rushed because we moved in so quickly. But I'm ready,
Yeah, but I mean, even just being in our own home, like this is our home. This is our dream house, everything
and it's
we wanted
exciting,
in so many ways. It's so exciting. I mean, but like that just changes everything, you know? It's so different from years prior.
new and kind of scary.
Yeah. There's definitely a level of pressure around it, a quiet sense that it needs to be really like meaningful or special or like everything has to be right.
Um, I don't know about right, but we'll
Yeah.
get there.
Yeah.
There are also a pool to honor what was without recreating it exactly. Like basically, like I would decorate out front, and my previous relationship would decorate the inside of the house, and she would make it look amazing, and I would do the front, and you know, I didn't touch the front. She didn't touch the front yard.
Oh yeah,
I mean, I
no.
didn't. She didn't touch the front, and I didn't touch the inside. And she made it her way, and that was the way she liked it, and I liked it. It looked like Christmas grew up, but it was amazing because it was her way of decorating, just like my way was for my mom.
Mhm.
So we matched with that. Like but she's very Christmas fanatic, like terrible. But that's how it is.
Mhm. Well, and it's interesting too because, you know, the way we're doing it together is very different than my past too, where it was 100% me. And it was all me all the time when it came to decorating and figuring out, what to do for the holidays. And so now having to share that with you, I'm like, oh, my way. Whereas you're like, what are you doing outside? And,
Yeah,
you know,
that was
we
different.
figure it
That
out.
was different because I mean she did help me, and my kids helped me outside. But they had a little bit more understanding because they were there. They know the reasons why I was doing it. You didn't know because we didn't live in a house before this. We lived, somewhere where we couldn't decorate the front yard, so you didn't know the concept of the importance of it. So I think that was like a misunderstanding because I was looking at you like you were crazy, like why are you outside? Why are you touching anything? But it wasn't more of a like a demand, like don't do it. It was a more of a like, wait, you're taking away something from me,
Yeah.
and you didn't know. So
And really, I just wanted to be a part of it
yeah,
because I was used to decorating
hmm
my way, however I wanted to.
like your tradition of how your mom only did the tree, so you only do the tree.
Mhm.
I don't care about the tree, like you know what I mean. But
Yeah.
I helped. I put
Mhm.
one up just so you leave me alone
You
about
put
it.
more than one up.
Okay,
More than one
but
ornament.
you so you leave me alone, but like outside is like
Then
something.
I leave you alone.
But outside's more like for me to have that connection to my mom, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I think that it was special though. We did it together this year.
I mean, you were right.
I mean, I might have invaded your little tradition, but I
Yeah,
guess that's what's figuring out, blending families really is. And, blending families really does add another layer to things. It's not just like creating traditions, it's stepping into ones that you already mean something to like other people in the family. It already means something. So it's important. You still have to figure out where you fit, what feels natural, what doesn't, what you're allowed to change, how to respect their space or traditions, their emotions. It's also like wanting to be a part of what's new for you too. Like you can move forward without erasing what came before, but that's That's hard. You have to be very aware of yourself in that moment. And the tension can feel very tender, even when you're just grateful to be there.
I mean, the crazy thing is like, I can admit this to, my podcast family, but I feel like Mateo was sent to me for a reason. Because it was like, I was like, oh, I'm done with Christmas. All I gotta do is give my older kids money. And then he came and I'm like, oh, I can go toy shopping again. It put me back to where when my kids were younger.
Mhm.
So that was a memory that I love to do is go shop for them when they were younger. Like me and their mom, that was our thing, like Black Friday and stuff like that. But now we have a purpose to do it again. It doesn't have to be together, but at least we come together for him because it's the fun stage, as I said. So I'm happy about that. And it doesn't mean you're doing something wrong. It just means you're moving carefully and with care. And that's what I plan on doing, with the kids and, my traditions and your traditions and, with your daughter. And, that's my mini me too. We're blended and that's how it's supposed to be.
Mhm.
And trust in the distance doesn't mean rejection. That's hard, but
Mhm.
distance can feel personal. It can stir up old fears, doubts, and that quiet voice that I have a lot. If you're asking, you're welcome here at all.
Yeah, especially when you're trying to do the right thing, when you're holding back out of respect and not indifference, not because you don't care.
Sometimes care looks like patience, which I have none. Again, Scorpio, crazy, fire, crazy. Um, you don't get immediate feedback for the patience that you have. You don't get immediate feedback for caring. You don't always know if you're doing it right. And trust me, I don't know because I don't pay attention because I don't have patience. You're just choosing to stay steady and kind as much as I can.
And that kind of care takes a lot of emotional strength.
That emotional word, I hate it. It's just so much. Like, why? Why?
It's the world I live in for other people, but it's hard when I have to live it myself.
Yeah, like, be kind to me by not calling me. How about that?
You don't mean that.
I don't. I do.
You don't. But even if your life doesn't look like this, even if you're not navigating a blended family, the same tension shows up in other ways. It can look like being around people you love, but you don't quite know how to be around them anymore, or friendships that have shifted, or rooms that feel like familiar, but just not the same.
Now, I have grown up with a lot of friends and family for, most of my life. My friends were more of my family
Mm.
because my mom worked all her life, and I had an older sister that was active in drugs who passed away last year. She made it as long as she can. I have another sister that has her family that we don't really associate with. I have my twin, but my friends became my family, and I'm blessed that they were in my path, but I have outgrown so many to where I would go overboard Christmas and stuff like that for them because I wanted them to feel the love that I would like that I had for them, and it wasn't the same. They cared for me in that moment, but as the holidays and my mom passing, I saw who was standing in my corner. So holidays for me is just to be immediate, and people that I see daily. I feel like that's more close for me. It's the feeling of wanting to belong without forcing it, wanting the connection without overstepping, wanting closeness while respecting where people are in life. And I have learned that in the last couple years.
Hmm. And during the holidays, all of that tends to feel louder, more visible, more loaded.
We've been talking about care, patience, and what it costs emotionally. Sometimes what costs the most is what's really never really gets seen.
Yeah. I've definitely had holidays where everything looked fine from the outside, but inside I was carrying a lot that didn't have anywhere to go. I was doing what you're supposed to do, showing up, participating, smiling at the right moments. There was that quiet ache that just sat underneath it all. Not because something was wrong, but because something had changed. and I didn't know how to hold that yet. There were years when I didn't even have words for what I was feeling. I just knew I was holding more than I could name. And instead of getting curious about it, I kept turning it inward. I kept blaming myself. I told myself that I should be more grateful, more content, more settled. That if something felt heavy, it must mean I was doing something wrong. And that's such a hard balance, holding gratitude for what you have while also acknowledging that something inside you still needs more. More honesty, more space, more alignment. I think a lot of us get stuck here, afraid that naming what we need means we're ungrateful. And I never wanted to be ungrateful. Afraid that wanting something different means that we're failing to appreciate what's already there. Learning to separate gratitude from self silencing changed a lot for me because you can be thankful and still need something to change. And realizing it wasn't just me, that it was a human response to being in the middle of growth, that softened a lot of shame and a lot of shame that really needed softening.
So you went through a lot of growth and change, but you never moved the needle to be different. You just followed it, you felt it, but you never changed. You just continued to make everybody else happy but yourself.
Yeah, it was like the status quo. I did what I thought I needed to do, and I was the person that I thought I was supposed to be. And, you know, inside, as much as I knew that it felt wrong to me, I thought it was that I was wrong,
Welcome,
not the rest.
welcome to the '80s. Being an '80s baby,
That is so true.
because we were taught so much to where we
Mhm.
were independent. We do it on our own. This generation now, baby. We've talked about grief, change, blended families, and the habit of turning things inward. None of that means something is wrong with you. It's just life lessons. It might be this, it might be that, but there isn't a correct way to feel during the holidays.
And feeling conflicted doesn't mean you're ungrateful.
It usually means you're paying attention.
The holidays don't create these feelings, though. They just surface what's already there to begin with.
And sometimes what shows up isn't something to solve.
It's just something to like acknowledge.
And that's hard. That's hard. Because
Yeah.
you realize that like your wrongs that you think you're right about, you're right that you're wrong about, like you know what I mean, or you're wrong that you're right about, it that's hard. That's hard.
Yeah, and that's where a lot of the pain comes from trying to fit ourselves into a version of the season that no longer fits who we are.
And what that when that doesn't work, we assume the problem is us. It
Hmm.
definitely usually is us.
I mean, I definitely thought it was me for a long, long time. But that growth often feels like misalignment before it feels like clarity. And I didn't realize that at the time.
It doesn't make you difficult or broken though. It just means that you haven't found your purpose yet.
Yeah. And for me, I spend most of my days telling people that all of this is okay and it's what makes them human during the transition, but yet it was so difficult for me to realize that that's what made me human at the time.
Yeah, but once you notice what the season bringing up, the next question becomes how you live with it.
Yeah. And I mean, sometimes living with it looks quieter than we expect. It could mean fewer traditions or softer ones. It can mean saying no without over explaining or stepping back without disappearing. And let me tell you that saying no without over explaining is not something I ever knew in my life before.
Yeah, but I like the word no.
Yes.
I also didn't tell my relationships no. I feel like that's a crazy word to say when it should be like, a compromise instead of no. You know how I am with you. I only tell you no when it comes to Target and Michael's and Marshall's. But, in all seriousness, you make your own money. You do you. I support whatever. I've always been like that. As long as I have my Lego money, I'm good. Making space doesn't mean you care less.
Yeah. It means that I guess you care enough to be honest, and honesty was a struggle for me for a long time.
You don't owe anyone a version of yourself you no longer are because during the holidays or everyday life, we are the same people that have changed so much to where we want to like each other and like ourselves.
Yeah. And it's important to let the season be what it is instead of what it's supposed to be. That was one of the biggest lessons that I've had to not only learn, but also live because I can know it and say it, but actually living that from a day to day, that's important and hard sometimes, but it's an act of care.
But it's for yourself and the people around you that you have to be you for.
Now, before we close, we want to leave you with a few gentle questions, not to answer right now, but just to carry with you. So, what has this season been bringing up for you without trying to change it?
I would say, if I had to answer that question, growth, change, and readiness.
Ooh, what are you ready for? We ready?
Christmas to be over.
Oh,
Oh, just to start like a new chapter. Like I said, it's a new chapter. We got a new house, new Christmas tree. Because I don't know what I do with the other one, but it's it's fine. So yeah,
it's all right.
that's how I would answer it. What
We'll
about
have
you?
more next year.
What about you?
Uh, mm, let's see. I think that this season is bringing up a lot of reflection for me. I am not the same person I was 6 months ago, a year ago, 3 years ago. Sure as heck ain't the person I was 5 years ago. And I have been able to really sit in the emotions behind that growth.
Would you ever be able to say that you appreciate the change in yourself?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, very appreciative of the change, but I'm also so proud of the change. Like, I worked my butt off to become the person that I am. Worked, and nobody outside of me, except for maybe you, because you had to deal with the crazy along the way,
Boy, did I.
but nobody knows how hard I have worked over the last few years, and nobody knows how much I have processed and worked through mentally and emotionally in order to heal so many parts of me that I didn't even know I needed to heal. So, yeah, I can definitely acknowledge that. I can definitely say that I am so freaking proud of the person that I am now. And like, I think that that is my greatest gift in a way this season is like me, like being where I am, where we are in this home that we've made, in this life that we've made.
Okay, what might you be holding more than your name?
What might I have been holding more than I've named?
That you've named.
Ooh,
That's a deep one.
ooh.
That's a deep one. So if you guys can answer that, let us know. That's a deep one.
You think you can? What might you have been holding more than you've named?
I would say my emotions.
Yeah, always.
No, what I mean is like you, every season you have a different emotion. Like, you know, Christmas is hard for me, a lot harder for me than it would be if it was like 4th of July, And I mean, but every holiday I was with my mama, you know what I mean? So I think Christmas is definitely has a lot of my emotions.
Yeah.
What about you?
I you're gonna make me go get deep on this one. Okay, I am holding certain levels of pain and maybe a little bit of resentment that I am finally ready to let go of.
That's a good one.
Uh-huh. Oh, I've had to work a lot on
Okay.
that. A
All
lot.
right, I'm interested to hear more about that
Mm.
at a later date.
Hmm. Okay, so is there a place where you've been confusing gratitude with self-silencing? Mm. This is my world more than yours.
I was gonna say you answer and I'll tell you.
Okay, a place where I've been confusing gratitude with self-silencing. I think that I always get stuck in a pattern of people pleasing to a certain extent.
Have you met me?
I know, but that is often just like the world that I live in is people pleasing and trying to do what I think I'm expected to do and what, is the right thing to do. And I do think that there are moments where I catch myself where I am self-silencing and even it's not like an intentional thing. It's a questioning of whether that's the right thing that I'm feeling or saying or doing. It's like really truly questioning myself because I feel like I spent so many years doing the wrong thing and that I should be grateful. But with that being said, I am nowhere near the person I was before. So my ability to be grateful and also speak out is stronger than it's ever been before. And that's something that I'm continuing to work on and grow for my betterment of learning how to create boundaries, which is something I was not great at before.
Yeah, I don't know anything about none of that. I'm old school. Just hang up the phone. Don't
Mhm.
answer. Do not
Mhm.
disturb. Faithfully. What would it look like to let yourself experience this season honestly, even if it doesn't look how you expected? I will say I'm more excited to experience the kids and to wake up and see the look on, little mama's face of, when Santa comes or however that works out. I think I'm excited for that because it's our first house and she wants to stay here. Like that's a big thing. I mean, she wants to be with me, but I'm her favorite. But I think that's it. I'm excited for that.
I think that's the first time you've said
We're
that.
gonna edit that part. You don't
No,
need no
no.
recorded proof. Right.
Um, if I were experiencing the season honestly, I think I am. I am.
Yeah.
I mean, there's definitely certain people that I would like to be around more than they are. But it's
Can't make people do
also,
something they don't want to do.
yeah, and
But
it's also like navigating challenging situations. Um,
yeah, but they know that our doors are always open.
mhm,
They also know that, you know, for your side of the family, they don't you guys aren't used to reaching out like that. And I hope that we can get that to change. Just for the siblings and the nieces and nephews. That way it's a different upbringing than you guys are used to. You
yeah.
know, the change would be for you for that I would see is you extending more olive branches that you already have. Because you've been doing better with that.
Wasn't necessarily the people I was talking about, but
No, but I know who you're talking about. But I'm saying we can only do so much.
yeah, I know. I know. It's always wanting to like figure out where you can make space instead of fixing it and being the kindest thing right now, like doing the right thing.
We have space, time, and energy for whoever wants to have that with us.
Absolutely.
We're always gonna be them people. And at the end of the day, we can only try so much, but eventually you either come or you don't.
Yeah. If you're listening and this holiday feels heavier this year, you're not alone in that.
You're not broken for holding more than your one's feeling.
You can celebrate and still miss,
Eh,
or
You're allowed to hold everything. It doesn't matter. Because at the end of the day, it's your choices, your life, your path. And you're not alone. We're here.
thanks for spending time with us.
If something in today's conversation stayed with you, you're not alone in that.
This
This is
is The
the
Trouble
trouble
with
with life
Life
is.
Is. We'll see you next time.
Peace out.